Welcome to Ask an Innovator. Today, I am especially excited. Ask an Innovator, where today we will dive into the mind, body, and soul of innovation. Today's innovators ride the espresso expressway, blissfully dissatisfied, kicking it into the passing lane of life. Gary and Alan left traditional for the untraditional life of the entrepreneur. What a crazy bunch of guys. If you have ever wanted to satisfy the craving or to leave your mark on a community and open a business, these two beauties are the ones you need to talk to. I'll be talking to them for you. Let's dive into the bulletproof mindset that it takes to run a business. So I said bulletproof very intentionally. Bulletproof is my absolute favorite coffee.
Is it?
Absolutely. Let's, instead of diving into mind, body, and soul, let's dive into bulletproof. What is a bulletproof coffee?
A bulletproof coffee is a high-fat coffee drink. It has coffee in it, as well as grass-fed butter and coconut oil, and sometimes we'll put some whipped cream in there as well. So it's a great way to get a lot of calories fast.
I love it.
Yeah.
High fat. So would you say high fat and high health?
Some people would say that.
I would
for
say
sure.
so,
Yeah,
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, all of our keto friends say that. For
Sure.
So we sell a lot of bulletproof coffees. Very popular right now.
Yeah. So on the show, and I'm so happy to have you guys. So on the show, we love to talk about mind, body, and soul. Right off the bat, we're talking about the body, what we're putting in our bodies. Let's talk a little bit about Thunder Bay. Let's talk about the soul of Thunder Bay. Are you both from Thunder Bay originally?
We are.
We are, yeah.
Okay. Great. And what is it like now to run a business in Thunder Bay? Do we have a glass half empty, or is Thunder Bay glass half full from an entrepreneur's perspective?
Definitely glass half full.
Glass half full. I love it.
We've been having a super positive experience running our own business. And I would say Thunder Bay is super supportive of local business. We're finding that all the time, that people are wanting to get away from going to the big chains, and they're wanting to have a local coffee experience.
That's amazing. Why do you think Thunder Bay is so supportive of independent local business?
I think because Thunder Bay is a small community, and so people know each other, and we like to just support each other.
Yeah.
So.
One of the things that really has blown us away is the support that we've received from other coffee businesses.
Right.
So all of the other local coffee companies have reached out to us in one way or another to offer their support. If we ever have any questions, if we need anything, let them know. It's been astounding. So rather than seeing us as competition, they're seeing us as part of a movement of local food.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm, as you know, involved also in the food scene in Thunder Bay, and we don't see that so much. We've only seen that in the last couple of years with restaurateurs kind of coming together, whereas in bigger cities, say like Toronto or New York or Montreal, there's a real camaraderie amongst restaurateurs. So I'm really happy to hear that it's happening in the coffee scene in Thunder Bay. We kind of call this the clustering effect, strength in numbers.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Remarkable.
So yeah, the people that have reached out to us, it really was, we didn't know what to expect, and so it's just been great.
Yeah.
Really, really great, really encouraging.
Yeah, amazing. So what was the driving force to leave traditional business and do something completely untraditional, totally risky in opening up your own business?
Well, I think that we were both at a point in our careers where we were looking for something different. We wanted to make some sort of a change, and we really didn't have any idea what that change would be.
Right.
So it all just happened very quickly, and we decided to throw caution to the wind and jump in with both feet, and here we are.
Here you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and arrived in style.
Yeah.
With the bulletproof.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
So it's kind of funny because I left my job on May 7th, and on June 1st we owned a coffee shop.
Wow.
And in that 3 weeks, we didn't have any sort of a plan to get into business. It was just jump in.
It's one of those things though, when you're in the flow, when you're doing what you need, when you're where you're at, where you're supposed to be, everything just comes together perfectly.
Right, so
we
true.
kind of talked about coffee shops in just a general terms. We came back to Thunder Bay, we found out that Bay Village Coffee was for sale. We went and saw it, it felt really good. And then since then, everything has just fallen into place just perfectly. It's amazing. If there's an issue or we need some help, the right person appears instantly. Our customers have been incredible and very supportive, and it's just all flowed really beautifully.
I love it.
So we didn't have a plan. We didn't develop a business plan. Anything like that would have been too daunting for us. You know, we wouldn't have wanted to do all of that.
We would have put it off and put it off, because
we
who knows
talked
when
about,
we'd ever get around to it.
Yeah, Yeah, like we talked about businesses for years, like just little ideas that we had. We've always sort of wanted to be in business, but we were afraid to leave leave our paychecks behind, really.
Right.
And we were invested in our careers. We worked really hard and did some great work. But we just felt that for ourselves, we needed to be independent, you know, and it's exhilarating.
There's a couple words that really come to mind. Well, there's one word that comes to mind and a variation of the word. So dissatisfaction can be a great motivator, and blissful dissatisfaction. Getting so dissatisfied that it's the motivator to make massive change.
Yes, absolutely.
Were you blissfully dissatisfied?
Yes.
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 Super.
Yeah. Great. Yeah.
Another thing that really caught my attention is a few months ago I was talking to another local entrepreneur, and we were talking about a new business idea, and I suggested that she work for this new business I was starting. And she just looked at me and said, "Oh no, I could never work for somebody else."
Right.
And that made me really think, like, why am I working for somebody else? Why are we working for somebody else that we're not really happy doing it anymore? So,
Yeah.
So it sort of really kind of kicked us in the butt and got us moving.
Right. The emotions.
Yeah.
The emotions tied. You know, the English language is interesting. I know, and don't quote me on this, but there's some 500 words to describe negative emotions and a couple hundred to describe positive emotion. I mean, I think this is why maybe the news is always so negative, as we relate to it. This is fairly unique to the English language for some reason. The emotions that you had, a positive emotion and maybe a negative emotion tied to taking that risk, the plunge, coming to terms with being dissatisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we read a really good book too that inspired us, and it was called The $100 Startup. And it was about people that just started businesses, successful businesses with $100 or less.
Wow.
And so we read that and we were like, you know, we could do this. And then we did it.
You know, a big part of jumping into business is it's very daunting. It's very, it can be overwhelming thinking about the business plan, the financial aspect of it. Not only just taking the risk of jumping into business, but there's just so much to it that you can easily talk yourself out of it. You can easily be too scared to do it.
Right.
And we decided to face that fear and
face that fear.
Like Gary said, though, you know what? Every step of the way, something would happen. There'd be a roadblock, and immediately there'd be a solution to it. And it just presented itself. And perfect example is the night before we had our opening. Our coffee machine started to leak all over the floor.
Things.
This is 10 o'clock at night, the night before we opened. And like, what are you going to do? You can't open a coffee shop with no coffee. So 3 of my friends walked in, and one of them said, "Oh, well, my husband used to fix these machines. Let me call him." And 20 minutes later, he was there fixing our machine. And like, without us even asking for help, it just shows up. And so every step of the way, every time there's an obstacle or a roadblock, something is there to fix it.
We got our business license in 2 days.
Okay, this doesn't happen.
No, they said it could be 6 weeks, and they called 2 days later. It was ready.
All right,
that's
a
sign. The
sign.
universe is supporting us in our goal. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And I hear enough about business, and sometimes it can be painful, and sometimes it can be really, really smooth. And it's all really kind of being aligned and being in the right place at the right time. We're going to throw to commercial. That was already 9 minutes. Could you imagine?
Awesome.
We're going to throw to commercial. Be right back. We have a couple innovators here, Alan and Gary. We're going to kick it off a little bit when we come back. We're going to dive a little bit more into the financial aspects of it, the spiritual aspects of it. We already kind of talked about the universe. Stay with us. Be right back with Ask an Innovator. Welcome back to Ask an Innovator. I am with 2 unbelievable innovators. Okay, so some of the best stuff that happens on this show, and I've said this for 2 years now, happens off camera. I have to just touch on what happened off camera. The show is called Ask an Innovator. We're about innovation. We're about bringing creativity to the surface. We're about the fear facing and the fact finding that goes into innovation. I believe the pulse of any community is the heartbeat of innovation and creativity. Years ago, this station used to have a show called Thunder Gay Magazine. I've spent a lot of time in downtown Toronto in the gay community. I worked and owned a business right on Church Street in Church and Wellesley. We had this most amazing conversation. We talked about the show Thunder Gay magazine that used to be on. Now this is unscripted. I didn't know this was going to happen. You guys might be picking up the show where it left off some decades ago.
I think it sounds like a great idea.
All right.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely a need for a show like that to come back.
This is real innovation.
Yeah.
This is
so
innovation happening right
for
now.
Sure, why not?
Right?
Because we'd love to have a show, and that would be great.
I'm putting you guys on the hot seat.
Okay, here we are.
All right. Okay. that was
here live.
Seen it here. It's
we're
live.
Gonna have to do
it's
it now.
happening.
Okay,
all
good.
right.
Awesome.
Watch out for
That's
it.
great.
Yeah. So we can actually plug this because this is actually Shaw Cable and it's a Shaw show. So let's plug away. Yeah. This is great. Okay, that just happened.
Let's do it.
Let's get back to the business. Let's get back to the innovation. Financial literacy, budgets. How important was? I mean, you had all these things aligned to open up your business, and that's amazing. That doesn't happen very often, by the way. You know that. Okay? It's not always that easy.
We know that we're
Count your blessings.
incredibly lucky.
Yeah,
we really
very
are
lucky.
Financial literacy, understanding money and the budgets that go into running a business. How important is this? How do you score yourself in terms of financial literacy?
Well, I think we both have like a basic knowledge of finance and some accounting and that kind of thing. We get that. And we're just new. We're not even at our 4-month mark yet. So we're still learning quite a bit about like costing of things and all
forecasting
of that. So right now we know like money's coming in, some money's going out. I think we're doing okay.
Hopefully there's some left over at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
We're hoping there's some left over.
Yeah.
But no, we
Feels
realize
like
that
there is.
there's a need for us to really do the forecasting and do the work that you need to put into a business. And so we're lucky enough to have a lot of help with that.
Yeah.
And some really good people to support us. And so.
And where do you get that help? Where does a business owner get help for the financial piece?
Well, we have a great accountant who has been a friend of ours for a while and who messaged when she heard that we were going to be opening a business and said that she works for coffee. And so...
It's funny, she texted and said, please tell me it's Bay Village Coffee.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it was.
So
That's
she comes by
amazing.
for coffee every morning,
Right.
and we benefit very much from her advice and all the accounting with that. So it's great.
And the barter system in Thunder Bay is alive and well. We are on an island in this town. There is a U.S. border 45 minutes away and then nothing else. So we have to take care of ourselves. And the barter for independent, the barter system is alive and well.
It is.
It's fantastic.
Sure. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Financial literacy, we're just going to get back to that. Something that's near and dear to my heart. I scored myself as a businessman with a very average financial literacy. And in the last year or so of my life, I've really dove in to financial literacy. What I noticed is this. When people are, say, talking about coffee, or they're talking about steak, or they're talking about the Food Network, it's exciting. People get up about it.
Yeah.
Bulletproof coffee is neat. You put butter in my coffee? What? Tell me about that. How do you make it? As soon as you switch gears and start talking about money, RRSPs, TFSAs, liras, right? Mutual funds, segregated funds, glaze over.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think people check out when it comes to something so important?
That's a good question.
I think we have some hang-ups about money. So we all carry like a lot of baggage about money that can sometimes it keeps it away from us. And so there's a whole subject area that we think is very complicated and that we probably is beyond our understanding, and so we just kind of focus on other things.
Yeah.
But it's so important because money it's an exchange of energy, right?
That's it.
And
Yeah.
so
Well said.
we want that energy coming in and we want it flowing out, and just to be in that flow.
Yeah.
And to do that, you have to have some knowledge, right? And also be very, very open and to hints and messages as they come as well, right?
Right.
We recognized when we were starting to talk about opening a coffee shop that the really important, one of the critical things for us is to have a good quality product, because we want people to leave the coffee shop feeling like they got their money's worth.
Right.
You know, and I think that really works. There is, like Gary said, it's an exchange of energy.
Right.
So it's got to be equitable on both sides,
Sure.
right? We're getting something, customers getting something, and everybody's happy. And,
I love it.
And it works.
Yeah, value. I mean, I'm obsessed with value, and value, and having it clearly defined as a business value proposition. It's no longer bang for your buck. It's no longer portion size versus price.
Right.
There's got to be anecdote built in. There's got to be an experience that transcends how big is it and what does it cost, and that how do you create value beyond the price of a coffee.
And one of the things we do is by creating an atmosphere that's very welcoming and friendly. People love our shop, you know, it's beautiful. We have lots of beautiful art and flowers and good food. And that was one of our goals, was to create, I mean, our tagline is a place to espresso self. We want everyone to feel, we want people to feel comfortable and welcome, and for there to be a very friendly atmosphere, and we work really hard to create that.
I didn't know the tagline, a place to express yourself, and you notice in my espresso self, and in my introduction, today's innovators ride the espresso expressway. I didn't.
I like that.
There it is again, the universe and the energy working out for you. Jeez, I want to invest into this. I mean, that is awesome.
So I think we've done really well at creating that type of an environment where people are welcome, and we get people from all walks of life, right across the whole spectrum, coming in and enjoying themselves, and it's really great. And we had welcomed the students from Dennis Franklin Cromartie School last week, and Mattawa. And so we had their students come in who are new to the community, and we just made them welcome and let them know that this is a safe place. And if you're out there ever experiencing any issues or trouble, or you're scared, this is a safe place to come if you're in the area.
Amazing.
And and it was really well received. And
that's amazing.
So, and that's really important to us. Is it's a place that everybody feels comfortable.
Yeah, we're going to get into that a little bit after the break, and I think that's something, and that I think everybody feeling comfortable, and the idea we talked a little bit about the idea of community and the power of community. Innovators, small business being the pulse of community, outside of the cash flow and the jobs and the taxes that you create and pay. What you just said, Alan, is so beautiful, that it's also a safe place to come, simply put.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we're going to leave on that note. That's pretty heavy stuff, and I think, you know, at the break, philosophize about that. We're going to get back and we're going to dive into some more innovation, mind, body, and soul. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Ask an Innovator. We're going to talk a little bit right now about a few less obvious things. We talked about business. We talked about their new show, which may be coming up. What do you do outside of work when you're not making amazing espresso coffees, creating an eclectic environment, when you're not creating a safe environment? Traveling the world, is this a hobby?
Yeah. Definitely traveling. We've done some great travel in the last few years, and hopefully we'll get back to that at some point.
Well, now that you're out of business, pump the brakes.
Yeah, for sure.
Just being here right now is something.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. Talk about that. It's a half an hour show. You own a business. Let's be real. So you left a job, kind of, I guess, to say 9 to 5. You get a paycheck, and you're extracting a half hour of your life for this.
Yeah.
Took a little bit of work.
It is.
It did. Well, we have a really good staff now. We started out, it was just Alan and I. So we were doing everything, and about 3 weeks or a month in, we had one part-time person join us, and now we're up to 5 people. So we have a really good team. We're very confident that everything is fine there. But still, it's our baby, you know. So we want to be there as much as possible. So this week we're going to take a couple afternoons away just to try that and see how it goes. But our free time now is spent on the business. So in the evenings, we're still doing things for the business. There's tons of things to do all the time.
Tons of things.
We could be doing it 24 hours a day if we wanted to. But right now, we're only doing it about 18 hours a day.
That's about 18 hours a day. And that sounds about right. Yeah.
For sure. But we love it. It's fun.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's really
We're having the best
exhilarating.
time doing it.
Oh yeah, it couldn't be better. So
amazing. And you're very authentic about it when you go in, and you're both there.
Yeah.
People want to go in, they want to see owners.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of a frightening thing about business, very realistically, is that, you know, banks will have a little box that they check when businesses fail, and there's a series of reasons. And owner absenteeism is a box when, you know, when they run an insolvency or they wind a business down or go and call a loan. They check that box.
Yeah, you
sometimes.
Everybody says to us, you have to be there.
Yeah.
You know, we've heard it over and over again from successful entrepreneurs, and there's nowhere else we'd rather be anyway.
No, it's exactly where we want to be.
Yeah.
We have to achieve a better work-life balance for sure, and that will come in time.
Yeah.
But right now, we're all in 100%.
So when you get to that point, maybe in a couple of years, where you feel like, okay, the business is sound, I can step away, I need a break. Where in the world are you going to go? Because you've been to some pretty far-flung places already.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Where would be the dream adventure? Does it involve a backpack or a Louis Vuitton bag?
Not a Louis Vuitton bag.
No, definitely a backpack.
A backpack, yeah.
Yes, probably Africa. We would go on some kind of a coffee excursion of some sort,
right.
you know, like go explore where coffee comes from and that. I think that would be really fascinating.
That would
for us
be really,
right now. Central America too would be awesome. Going to all the coffee places.
Yeah,
That would be
really
great.
exploring that would be really, really cool.
And
just
then bringing
meeting the
back what we
farmers.
find. It would be awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What do you do for the body? We talked. You said you had a trainer. Now there's a former guest on this show, Fun Bobby Kwasny. He's a neighbor of yours as well, and is he your trainer?
Yeah, so we're working out with him, and that's going really, really great.
We love to talk about the body on the show and just dive into that. How important is that the balance between treating your body well and then the subsequent benefits to your mind and then ultimately your business?
Well, when we first started out, we were really running around all day long, no time to eat, so much to do, and we both lost about 20 pounds. Just boom, it was awesome. It was the best diet we've ever been on.
This is a book.
Yes.
Open up a business
and lose weight.
Lose weight.
So I don't know how many steps we were putting on every day, but you know, we were really, for sure. But then we find ourselves, you know, needing still to have exercise and that kind of thing. So we've just started within the last month. And working on the nutrition piece as well. You know, we're eating what we could at the coffee shop during the day, and then really having fast food at night because we were so exhausted from the whole day. But that's all starting to turn around now, and things are starting to feel a lot more normal. You know, I'm cooking meals at home, and we're, you know, going to the gym, doing things like that.
Having the right staff and the right people helping us out really gives us the ability to start taking care of ourselves a little bit better.
Sure.
We know that you can't burn the candle on both ends for too long. So, so we're really, we're focusing on that now.
What I've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs, and something that, to paraphrase a bunch of them, they'll often say when it comes to people and staff, is that one of the most consistent parts of their day are the inconsistency of people.
Yes,
and we're all people. And we all have to own our own inconsistencies. So kind of building a business that, you know, empowers people to be able to come in and retain them and make them enthuse them, keep them stimulated in this day and age.
And we do a lot of that. Alan does it with social media, getting people and keeping people engaged. Our Facebook just is really hopping all the time. You know, we've got a lot of people liking us on there and engaging with our posts, and that's really great. And that brings people in. You know, they're like, I've been following you on Facebook for a while, and now I'm finally here. You know,
this is probably one of the most fluid interviews I've ever done, and I'll tell you why. Because I mean, we have about 2.5 minutes left, and you know what I wanted? The last thing I have on my list here, social media, and you, Gary, segued for me. I didn't even need your do like.
Well, there you go.
Natural.
Okay. Show.
Yeah, you do.
We're natural.
Social media. Do you love it? Do you hate it? You do it? You embrace it?
Social media has been key for us.
You find time to do it?
It really has. It's tough. Sometimes it's tough to find that time, but you have to. You really do, because people are engaging, and if you stop engaging with people on Facebook, it doesn't take long for you to start dropping in the.
So literally finding time to sit on your phone and hunch over. And I call it the T-Rex because you kind of look like a T-Rex with these little arms, and plugging away.
It's often done in between
an hour
customers.
A day, 2 hours a day.
Probably an hour for
an
sure.
Hour a day. You have to do it.
More than that, because you do it in the evenings as well, and then getting photos and you know,
researching things to post and
but our customers are also sending stuff in for us to post. Like Alan posts little coffee memes and jokes and stuff on Facebook, and they're all coming in now all the time.
People are sending them. It's great.
So Alan, are you the main social media marketer.
Yeah.
You're the guy.
Yeah.
So Gary, here's the question. Phones in a lot of relationships are a point of contention.
Oh yeah?
So yeah. So you don't know this. So when in a relationship, when someone else, the other spouse is on their phone, people are like, what are you doing on your phone? Right?
Oh yeah.
Right. So when Alan's on his phone, do you give him the space to just kind of let him do it?
Oh,
and,
absolutely.
And you know he's running the business,
Oh,
and
yeah,
you know
for
it's
sure.
important.
Yeah,
and-
Alan is the backbone of our business for
Yeah.
sure. You know, he takes care of all of that stuff.
I don't know if I'd say
And
that, but-
I would say that. But the social media part is very important to us,
Yeah.
and he does it brilliantly. Yeah, so I know he puts a lot of hours into it,
Yeah.
and it's great.
Yeah, it's so important.
Because we've just both followed our natural inclinations. So Alan is more inclined towards that sort of stuff, and he's taken over that part, just like he does in our relationship, really. And I'm more inclined to for the baking and stuff like that, and that's more my area, the food and all of that. And so together, it's a perfect partnership.
It's a perfect partnership. That's a whole other segment. We could talk about structure of business.
Yeah.
We're gonna wind it up. I think you might see Gary and Alan coming into your living rooms very shortly. This is really cool. I had a whole big digression I was going to do at the end. We're going to leave it at that. Here's some innovators, mind, body, and soul. They dove into it. It's a pleasure to have you guys. See you next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.